Welcome, one and all, to another episode of Pacific 414 episode reviews. I'm your host, Mike, and tonight I'm going to be talking about the third episode of the first season of WandaVision, now in color. Now, this episode starts off with a little homage, a little opening homage to series like The Brady Bunch, Mary Tyler Moore, The Partridge Family, and you see all the main characters that we met in the previous two episodes, minus a few, but we see Herb, we see Norm, we see Geraldine, we see Agnes, and of course, we see Vision and Wanda. And in this episode, it continues on with Wanda and her pregnancy, and Vision is reading books on pregnancy and about being a parent and the like. And what we come to learn is that in this world that Wanda's in, instead of this pregnancy lasting, a 9 month term, it lasts, a few hours, maybe a couple days. And what ends up happening is there's a doctor visit, and the doctor says that Wanda's 4 months pregnant, but we know that's not true because what ends up happening in this episode is Wanda and Vision end up experiencing things like different weather phenomena due to Wanda's powers. The power goes out in the neighborhood. There's, a scene where Vision's out and he's talking to Herb, and Herb's using a hedge trimmer, and the blade is cutting through the brick wall that separates two properties. And speaking of this wall, I'm going to talk about the overall set design. The overall set design in this episode was definitely, you know, based on any series that took place in the 70s, you know, like the Brady Bunch, for example. That's really, what I took from watching this is, you know, you saw the interior of Wanda and Vision's house, and it definitely was paying homage to that of the Brady Bunch. And of course, you see the backyard with the artificial grass that you always saw in shows from the 70s, particularly the Brady Bunch, and just the colors, popping out, and the color of the fence. It seemed like they all had that redwood finish to them, and there are things that happen in this episode. I'm gonna try not to spoil it too much, but if you've watched my reviews before, you know that I tend to give a lot of spoilers. But what ends up happening is, the doctor comes over for a doctor's visit, says that Wanda's 4 months pregnant. There's a small scene where Vision is timing himself to see how quickly he can change a diaper. There's a scene where Wanda and Vision are in the baby's room, and you see that they have a painting. She's, got all sorts of different decorations going on, and at one point in the episode, we even have Vision race to get the doctor. Meanwhile, Geraldine comes over after there's a scene where, it's raining inside Wanda and Vision's house, it's raining in the neighborhood. Power's going out because, again, Wanda's using her powers. And Geraldine comes over to borrow a bucket. And Wanda's doing the best she can to hide the fact that she's pregnant, which ultimately fails because Wanda goes into labor and Geraldine assists in the labor. And Vision has raced to go get the doctor who had mentioned earlier in the episode that he was going to be going to Bermuda. And Vision gets to the doctor's house, carries the doctor on his back, goes at light speed, faster than light, to get back to the house. By the time he gets back, the babies are born, and Vision thanks the doctor for helping. The doctor and Geraldine go into the kitchen, and then at one point, Vision steps out and starts talking to Herb. And when he's talking to Herb, Agnes is there as well, and they're talking. Meanwhile, inside the house, Wanda has just given birth to one baby, and then all of a sudden she has another contraction, ends up giving birth to twins, and she says at one point that she herself was a twin, referring back to Quicksilver. And not only that, at one point Geraldine mentions Ultron, saying that Wanda's brother Petro was killed by Ultron. So if you remember in Age of Ultron, Quicksilver was running to save a girl out of Sokovia, and it was when the Avengers carrier came to help evacuate everybody, and he was shot because he wasn't quick enough, and he unfortunately died. So Wanda says, I was a twin. And then she's looking at this necklace with a pendant on it, and this pendant, has this shape, and in the shape, it looks like Vision's head. You could even say it might also be Hydra. And Wanda starts asking Geraldine, where did she get that pendant? And also, she questions her when Geraldine mentions Petro. And then all of a sudden, more hints start to be dropped. Because while Vision's out front talking to Herb and Agnes, Herb starts giving, little tips here and there, saying that she showed up out of nowhere and she doesn't have a place to live. She doesn't have a husband. And of course, Agnes is trying to get her to stay silent. And then the next we find out when Vision comes back into the house is that Geraldine is no longer inside of the house, yet she never left the house. Also, what happens in this episode, I'm going to backtrack, but if you've watched my reviews before, I end up skipping points and going back to them. There was a scene in the living room between Wanda and Vision, and they're talking, and Vision starts asking Wanda, do you think that the people of Westview are getting wise to them? Because, you know, there are certain hints that are being dropped that Vision starts thinking, do they know that we are not who we say we are? And as he asks Wanda this, it glitches. The scene itself glitches, resets, and you know, Vision asks a question again, but this time it's not of does Wanda think that the people of Westview think that there's something up between her and Vision. No, it's about the family and about the name of the child, whether it's going to be Billy, whether it's going to be Tommy, and they start asking, what's the baby going to look like? Is it going to be human, or is it going to be a synthoid, or is it going to be a combination? And Vision says it's going to be perfect like his mother, and he mentions the name Billy because that's the name he wants the child to be, while Wanda wants the child to be named Tommy. Well, long story short, getting back forward, when Wanda has not just one, but two babies, the twins, they're named Billy and Tommy, which is also a reference to their kids in the comics. So then, what ends up happening with Vision asking Wanda at the end where Geraldine is, because, like I said, she never left the house. We have an exterior scene taking place in the modern world, and we see this vortex open up, and out comes Geraldine, and she's tumbling in the grass. Then all of a sudden, we see these SUVs and helicopters swarming above, and there's even a spotlight from the helicopter shining down on Geraldine. And she's all disoriented, not knowing what's going on and where she is. So we get another clue that perhaps with some of the things that went on this episode, and I haven't given up everything because I don't want to spoil too much for people, but perhaps there's an elaborate dream going on inside Wanda's head, and she's creating all these factors, but she or someone has possibly left some clues for her as to how to get out of this reality. Who knows? I mean, in the first two episodes, you saw a few of the hints in the commercials. In this episode, it's the dialogue between Vision and Herb, and also Vision, Herb, and Agnes, and also Wanda and Geraldine, especially with the necklace and the pendant that's on the necklace. So there's definitely a deeper story going on. Like I said, I believe it's a dream that Wanda's having. Maybe she's in this deep, deep sleep, and she, via her powers, is going into the multiverse because from what I have read, what I have been hearing over and over again from various videos, and like I said, what I've read, that this will lead into Doctor Strange and the multiverse. And we also already know that the multiverse has taken into effect with Spider Man Far From Home, and it was explained that because of the snap that occurred in Avengers Endgame, thanks to Tony Stark getting rid of Thanos, that multiple realities were open. So, is Wanda now a conduit for all these multiple realities? And she's decided to place herself into this one particular reality that takes place in old sitcoms. Well, as far as I'm aware, there's 9 episodes in this particular season. It could be one season, it could be 2 seasons. I don't see how they could stretch it to 2 seasons, but with 9 episodes in this season, and we've already had three, so there are 6 episodes left in this season. We'll just have to keep tuning in to find out. And that's one of the things I'm really liking about this series is it's giving you a reason to tune in each and every week. Even if you're not a big fan of Wanda and Vision, it's giving you a reason to come back and tune in when the next episode is released, next Friday, or whenever you get around to watching it. So, I will continue to watch. We'll see what happens in episode 4, and we'll hopefully get more clues as to what's going on. Because there's always a broader picture as to what's going on, especially in this story, especially in the MCU. This definitely, you know, was able to blend both those classic sitcoms with the MCU better, in my opinion, which was a nice touch. It was, you know, just a great way of how they did it by having the MCU, you know, just sprinkle it in a little bit more into those old sitcoms where, you know, reality isn't as it seems. And I know a lot of you probably already figured it out, but these are just my 2 cents. If you want to comment below on this video, if you're watching on the YouTube channel, please do so, because as I've said before, I want to create dialogue here, whether, we're talking about WandaVision or any other show I've reviewed, maybe shows I haven't reviewed. You want to ask me about if I've watched them, and we can converse there. Converse during the game streams. Now, I understand that you may not particularly care for, some of the games that are being played. You might not even care for what's being discussed during the game, whether it be me by myself or when I, I do Sunday Night Frontiers with TKO. But let's have a conversation, because that's what I want to build here. I want to build a community where we have a conversation, where we discuss, you know, ideas, whether we have the same ideas or different ideas, it doesn't matter. Let's just create a community, create a dialogue, and let's have fun doing it. And that's what I found this episode to be. It was fun seeing these little hints dropped here and there, and you know really give you the sense that as an audience member, you can start figuring out what's going on your own, just by the clues that we've already been given in these first 3 episodes. And we're certainly probably going to get more. So overall, I really enjoyed this episode. I watched it twice now. I'll probably watch it again over the weekend. And I can't wait to see what happens in episode 4. And if you haven't done so already, please let me start the intro. But anyways, please follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Facebook, you can find me at Pacific414, YouTube /Twitch. On Instagram, Pacific_414, and on Twitter at Pacific414. Also, I do want to let you know I will be continuing my Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order gameplay. I know yesterday's video live stream went very long. Trust me, I was getting a little teed off of myself with a lot of the stupid mistakes I was making in the game, but you know what? Since I've never played this game all the way through, I I've got to learn, right? I've got to go through all the trials and tribulations of the game, and you know, try to develop my own strategy as far as dealing with enemies, both in the mission and also in parts of the game where I'm dealing with a boss. So, I hope you've enjoyed those streams. I'm going to continue them. I'm thinking of starting tomorrow's stream around 2 o'clock, possibly. If not 2, possibly 3 o'clock Eastern, and that's 3 p.m. I don't want you to think I'm gonna do it at 3 o'clock in the morning. That's one thing I'm gonna try not to do, is do a stream early in the morning, unless for some reason it's the only time I can really get a quick stream in. But look forward to that. There might be uh Sunday Night Frontiers on Sunday. I will know more information as the weekend goes on. But either way, even if there's not a Sunday Night Frontiers, which I'm hoping there is, but if there's not, I will still be doing a stream. Now, if it happens to be that we do a Sunday Night Frontiers, the we being myself and TKO, it will start at its normal 10 o'clock Eastern start time, 7 o'clock Pacific. And if for some reason we don't end up doing Friday Night Frontiers, I will be doing a stream of Star Trek Online, probably starting at 8, 9 o'clock Eastern Time. But we'll see. I'll post on the Twitter page as far as what's going to be going on for that broadcast. But look forward to seeing more Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order gameplay. I know I'm getting near the end of the game, and I'm looking forward to completing the game, but I'm also kind of dreading the fact of how long it might take me. But we'll see. I hope you've all enjoyed this broadcast. I appreciate each and every one of you for being here. I appreciate each and every one of you. Each and every time you tune in to Pacific 4 and 4 episode reviews, whether it be here on Twitch or on YouTube, and of course, when you tune in to a live stream, whether it be me by myself or me alone, TKO, I really do appreciate it. And if you haven't done so already, please follow me on Twitch and subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you like what you see here, give that like button and share the video. And for now, I am going to sign off for the night. Wish you all a great night, great weekend, and I will see you all later. Take care.